Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 2 Club, the Women's Guide to Divorce and Everything After. Today, I'm here with Rebecca Stern, divorce and family mediator, special education parent advocate, and founder of Pearl Mediation, servicing the New York and New Jersey area. Today, we're going to be discussing the basics of mediation, including the pros and cons. Is it cost effective? How does it work? Top 3 things to know and top 3 mistakes that women make. Hello, Rebecca. Welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Let's jump right in.
Sure. So I would say a lot of people don't actually know all of their options in getting a divorce in terms of the different processes you can use to go through. I like to call the first and most simple, straightforward version the kitchen table, which is the two of you just sit down, work out an agreement yourselves together, and then file that with a court, either on your own or with an attorney filing it for you. And there's nothing really wrong with that, but you aren't getting an education in the process, the things you have to decide and a lot of the details along the way. So I think doing something where you are getting some of that information is going to work out better for most people. A step up from that is that there are online forums available, and you can certainly get information online. But again, same thing. You're not really sure you're getting all the information, and where are you getting it from? Is it information you can trust? One step up from that in terms of involvement would be mediation, which I'll talk about more in a moment because that's what I do. But beyond mediation, there's negotiating through your attorneys, or ultimately, if you have to, litigating, which is a very small portion of cases and kind of your worst case scenario. But even if you're just negotiating straight through your attorneys, that can really often snowball into more court involvement than is necessary. So going back to mediation, when you mediate, either the two of you or the two of you and your attorneys, or really whoever else you want to bring to the table, are sitting down and hammering out an agreement together. And that mediator is really there to be your navigator through the process, to guide you through what needs to go into your agreement, make sure you're fully informed about everything, and really help the two of you come to the compromises that you're going to need to make to get it done. And the reason I'm such a fan of mediation is that there's no question it saves you time, it saves you money, and it often helps you avoid a lot of the drama that can go on if you're not in a structured setting like that with a professional who knows how to handle dispute resolution and get you on the same page. That said, there are many different kinds of mediators and many different ways they can bring you together on the process. I kind of don't think there's a one size fits all. You have to see what's best for your situation. For me personally, I employ a lot of different styles depending upon what I'm dealing with, because I think whatever is going to work is what we should be doing. So sometimes I'm a little more directive, sometimes a little bit less so. Sometimes we meet together, sometimes we private caucus. I even sometimes do mediations that are completely private caucuses where we're just meeting privately, and then I'm sort of acting as a go-between between the parties. But our goal at the end of the day is to come up with something called a memorandum of understanding. And that's really the rough draft of your marital settlement agreement. And it includes every issue you need to tackle, whether it's custody, child support, spousal maintenance, division of your property, or any issue that's going to come up that involves your assets or decisions that you're going to have to make together. And my goal in creating that is that we come up with something that's going to endure. So you're not going to have to come back to the table again and again, so that we're really planning for all of the bumps that might come up in the years ahead.
Wonderful. I mediated myself during my divorce, and I thought that was it was great. I mean, going through divorce, obviously not a great process, but being able to mediate and kind of be on the same page and not have to spend all that money and all the drama I'm a big proponent of it. So do you feel like there are some things that mistakes that women might make during this process of mediation that come up a lot?
Absolutely. I would say the number one is not doing your homework. And what I mean by that is the minute you think you're even going to consider going down the road of divorce, whether someone has said it to you or you're thinking about it, you need to understand your finances in particular really well. And, it's still the case more often with women than men, although not always, that somebody else was handling that.
Right.
You had a lot on your plate and you needed somebody else to take care of the financial part that maybe you're not feeling like you're an expert in.
Yeah.
And what you need to do now is learn it, not be intimidated by it, build a team of people to back you up and give you that education and help walk you through each step of the homework that you're going to need to do. Because in order to make good decisions about what you have and what's at stake, you need to fully understand what you have and what your rights to it are. So I would say the first phone call for somebody should actually be to a certified divorce financial analyst, maybe even before you call your attorney, just so you can learn, where are my assets? What are they? What's marital? What's non-marital? I mean, the number of questions that you need to be asking can be overwhelming, but you need to ask the right questions. So finding professionals that can help you know what those questions are, digging for that information is going to be critical.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I knew my finances, but I see a lot of women. I didn't know that the CDFA was even a thing. And even though I did know what my finances were, I wish I still, had known about a CDFA to be able to, talk to that person before. But I know of so many women that have no idea what, the finances are. They don't keep track of anything. They don't even know their passwords. They have no idea where the money's going, where it is. I think that is hugely crucial. I totally agree with you on that.
You need to shift that power imbalance, because if you want to have a good outcome, you have to both be on equal footing going into the conversation. So I would actually say the very next thing that is important is to build that team and to not rely upon the courts or anyone else for your outcome. You need to own your own outcome, because even if you have professionals who are steering things, at the end of the day, these are your decisions. And if you don't go into them with the confidence of really understanding the implications of everything and having your arms really around it, you're going to wind up regretting things later. So I want everybody to be able to sleep at night. And you're going to be in a better position to be able to sleep at night if you know, okay, this is what was going on. This is how I understand it. And this was the best decision that I could make for myself. And I chose a process where those decisions are a result of me sitting down and advocating for myself.
Yeah. And so, great. What do you feel like are some things that women should look for in finding a mediator?
That's a really good question. I think you have to look at both personality in terms of it being somebody you're comfortable with, but also what kind of a situation it is. If it's really amicable and everything is relaxed, are there some issues that we're going to struggle with, or is this very high conflict? Because that's going to dictate the personality of the person you choose to help drive the whole thing. Because if there's any conflict, and I mean, it does happen that there are certain situations that are so amicable that nobody's arguing about anything. But it is rare because it's a stressful time. Even if you're not arguing over big issues, there's stress and anxiety involved. And the more high conflict it is, the more you want to pick somebody who's assertive, who's going to be able to sort of be a bit of a grown up in the room when emotions do flare up, and who has a good understanding of the dynamics between the parties. And, letting you know you should have review attorneys, and they're going to let you know your rights and things like that to make sure that nothing is overlooked.
Yeah, that's great. What was my other question? Do you feel, I lost my train of thought. This is wonderful. I'm a big proponent of mediation. I do feel like it's, divorce is, like you were saying, it's so stressful, even if you are amicable. and to make it just easier on both parties and less expensive and collaborative. It's just, I think it would just saves everyone a lot of time and money. And
I would say one of the mistakes that's so often made is not separating the emotion of divorce from work of divorce.
Yes.
So when you're picking professionals that are good at helping you be able to do that, that's going to be critical, because we all make the worst decisions when we're at our worst. And this is when you're at your worst.
Yep.
Very over emotional. This is your heart. This is your life. You're walking into the unknown. And if you can have people behind you that are going to lift you up and tell you where to go for different kinds of help that you need to build that team to help you through the process. And when you're doing the work of putting your agreement together, being able to focus on the homework, the questions, the decisions that have to be made, looking at things like support as a math problem, not as a what's fair, what do I deserve,
right?
What do I need to move forward in a positive direction?
Yeah.
That's really going to be essential, because it's so easy to let the emotion drive the discussion.
Yes, totally agree. I just remembered my question. Does mediation work similar to a divorce attorney? Since you are in the New Jersey, New York area, are you only allowed to service the people that are in those states, or does mediation work differently?
Actually, I mediate all across the country, because now everyone has joined me on Zoom. I was doing it on Zoom before the pandemic, but now it's great because everybody's comfortable with it. And I think actually doing it by Zoom is a great way to do it, because you're in your house. You can put your feet up, put your cat on your lap, pour a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Stressful than being in a conference room in some cold building where you're feeling really anxious about everything. Because like we said, you make bad decisions when your anxiety level is up. So anything that you can do to feel in control and feel relaxed is going to help. And I think when people are at home in their own environment, it's more conducive to that. And mediation can be done anywhere, because the issues are really the same. There are, of course, different laws from state to state, and we're familiar with those. And we make sure that you also have an attorney in your jurisdiction who knows specifically what the requirements are in your area. But when we're talking about the big issues and how you two are going to come together and form an agreement, that's a universal thing. So whether it's amicable or high conflict, we may approach it differently. Whether you're in an equitable distribution or community property state, we may approach it differently. But overall, the process can really be done from anywhere. Okay. So for me, I see clients in person in the New York tri-state area, right, but I do cases all over the place.
Okay, wonderful. That's good to know. Okay, well, great. Thank you so much, Rebecca. It was so great to have you on, and I hope our audience out there has found some of this information very useful. You can find more information on our website at chapter2club.com, and I'll also have links to Rebecca's website, Pearl Mediation, below the video as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.